We're living through the biggest medical crisis that probably any of us will ever experience. But we're also going into an economic crisis. But on the positive side, there are ways we can deal with this through ideas like the universal basic income. And if we take ideas like this through into the future, we can make society a better place for everyone. Okay, let's see how. Hello everyone, welcome to Attic Philosophy. On this channel we're talking about metaphysics, language, logic, the mind, social philosophy. We're also thinking through some of the political and philosophical implications of the current crisis. In this video I'm going to focus on the coming economic crisis and a positive way we can deal with it through universal basic income. So to give you an idea of the scale of the coming economic crisis, in the US last week, over 6.5 million people filed for unemployment. That's in 1 week alone. It's been reported that we could hit levels of unemployment not seen since the 30s, the Great Depression. The UN has estimated recently that the crisis is going to hit the economy to the equivalent of losing 195 million jobs worldwide. So the most immediate way we're going to start to see those consequences, and we're seeing this already, is through people's loss of income, either because they're losing their jobs or because they can't get into work and their companies are losing money and those companies can't afford to pay their employees anymore. So if you don't have income coming in, first up, you can't pay your rent or your mortgage, you risk being homeless, you risk not being able to feed your family, you have choices between paying the bills and feeding everyone. These are not choices that anyone should have to make in the 21st century. So what can we do about this? For over 100 years in the UK, we've had a welfare system that supports people at quite a basic level. This is an established principle of democratic society. What a lot of people are realising just recently is it's not enough. So in the UK, we have about 5 million self-employed people. And when coronavirus hit, and it turned out most of those people weren't able to go out and work, they were faced with the prospect of losing all of their income. And the government initially at least was offering £94 a week of support for those self-employed people. And a lot of them turned around and said, that's just not enough. Now, £94 a week is actually a lot more than most benefits provide people a week. So it seems like a lot of people have realised that our UK benefit system, it's just not generous enough. As a society, we have to support people financially, and we have to do that in a way that is generous enough to allow those people to live their lives securely without fear of serious financial hardship. One suggestion is through universal basic income. Now, this is an idea that has been knocking around for ages. The idea, roughly, is that the state provides a basic income for everyone of working age in the country. This would replace the benefit system, so rather than having to go along and be assessed to see whether you can have state support or not, everyone gets this basic income. And then for people who have a decent income, who basically don't need that extra income, they return it in their tax bill. So someone like me, who's on a good salary, I would get that basic income and then it would be taxed off again. But for somebody who really needs it, they would be able to take that income and that will provide for them financially. It will provide security for them so that they don't have to worry. There are loads of arguments in favour of universal basic income. There is an argument from social justice that in order to have a just society, everyone should be able to share in society's wealth. There's an argument from freedom. In order to be truly free, you have to be free from financial hardship. Everyone should be afforded freedom, so we have to lift everybody out of financial hardship. There's an argument from inequality. We ought to aim to reduce economic inequality, and one great way of doing this is by providing everyone with a basic income, levelling up. And there's an economic argument for doing this, because by providing everyone with a guaranteed income, we inject some stability in the financial system. We reduce its fluctuations, its ability to boom and bust. I think there's also a huge practical advantage to universal basic income in that it would reduce the stigma that we have in the UK surrounding benefits, right? So if you need to go and claim benefits, there is a huge stigma associated with that. That would go if everyone received this basic income, even if you were in the situation where you would receive it and then return it again in your tax bill. How are we going to afford it? Lots of other economists have said, well, when you look at the details, you realise, yeah, we actually can afford it, because when the government pumps money into the economy, that money is not just lost, it's returned through the tax system. And by pumping that money into the economy, everything gains a boost, the economy functions better, more tax is returned to the government than otherwise would be. So if you're interested in these topics, these arguments are discussed in Basic Income and How We Can Make It Happen by Guy Standing, link down in the description. My gut feeling is whatever the economic arguments might be for or against universal basic income, our priority should be, is it the right thing to do? So think about the NHS, right? The NHS costs the government a huge amount of money, but we spend that money gladly because it's the right thing to do. So if it's the right thing to do to make everybody free and financially secure by providing them with a universal basic income, we should do that, and we should arrange our tax system in the country to enable us to do that. Now, people have been talking about universal basic income for years. The current crisis has brought the issue into sharp relief. We suddenly need a way to support many, many people, and we need to do it quickly. Something like a universal basic income paid out quickly and securely would be a great way of getting us through this crisis, of keeping people going, of keeping companies going, of keeping the economy going, and basically trying to prop up society. But I don't think this is an idea that is limited to the current crisis. Once the medical emergency is over, we shouldn't just go back to normal, saying it's everyone for themselves again. What we have learned from this crisis is that we, together as a society, have to support everybody else, because we're stronger together. We are not just individuals and it's everyone out for themselves. We have to help each other. And when we do that, we all benefit. Taking that idea forward into the future, we're going to do better as a society when everybody is supported. Thanks for listening this far. If you've liked hearing about these ideas, consider subscribing to the channel. If you have suggestions, please leave me a comment. It would be great to hear from you. Please stay safe, act responsibly, think about other people, but take care of yourself as well. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.